Our speaker this morning is MoniYah Person-Henderson. MoniYah is a four-year student from Pottstown, Pennsylvania. She is co-president of DECA, an underrepresented minorities representative for DEI, and a prefect on US 3 East. She is the proud roommate of Nirmala Sivakumar. MoniYah?
Thank you, Noah. Albert Einstein, Anand Celeste Colley, and Isaac Newton, some of the smartest people to ever live. While you probably recognize Einstein and Newton, you may not know who Anand Celeste Colley is. He is a young man who is currently 22 years old and studied at Singapore Polytechnic at the age of 8. When you hear these names, you most likely think about how intelligent they were. With IQs estimated around 160, 193, and 263, it was hard to believe that I could even consider myself smart. They created incredible inventions and changed the world to what we know it as today. And what do? Cry about a ridiculous math problem I can't figure out. I remember many of my elementary school classrooms would have a poster that would say, "Even Einstein asked questions," with a hilarious picture of Einstein sticking out his tongue. I would constantly chuckle to myself when I looked at it, not because of how ridiculous he looked, but because how hard I found to believe that simple phrase. Albert Einstein, a classified genius, asked questions? Then what the heck am I doing in life? As a young child, I would psych myself out when asking a question until I would think of myself as Einstein, someone who simply just asked questions. Prior to coming to Hill, I perceived myself as a high-achieving, smart young lady. It was something I was always told. I always received great grades, was constantly on distinguished honors, and received many awards. This completely changed when I entered campus my third form year. I remember preparing for the school ready to earn straight A's and hopefully become top of my class. Boy, was I not prepared for a huge wake-up call. When people would tell me the academics here are extremely rigorous, I just assumed they meant, like regular, challenging. I don't really know what I was thinking. I remember the first time one of my teachers suggested I visit the academic office for assistance. He handed me a pink slip and told me to visit the place listed during my free period. I was confused and thought not much of it until I walked in. The office was extremely kind and helpful, while I was completely perplexed. "Do you know why you were called in?" Miss Curcio said to me. "No, I'm not exactly sure," I responded with a smile on my face. "Well, your math teacher was concerned about your performance in class and wanted to make sure you were okay." This comment caught me by surprise. Sure, I didn't think I was doing amazing in math, but I didn't think it was a true concern either. It also shocked me to realize how much Hill teachers truly cared about their students' well-being. They asked me if I was doing okay mentally and gave me tips on how to improve my test scores. I began having more extra helps with my teachers, and although it was a sacrifice to stay late as a day student, you guys know how it is, it was worth it. I began coming in on weekends to get extra study time with my teachers and truly began catching up. I remember the first time I received one of the highest scores in the class on my biology test. I was ecstatic, and I began to believe that I did have it in me. I was smart. I was just a different learner, and that's okay. Prior to this talk, I asked a couple of my friends their definition of smart. They responded with having a high degree of wisdom or knowledge, a half cognitive ability which is how fast you learn things and think, and half things you already know. And a personal favorite, MoniYah. This made me realize that being smart is truly subjective. It all depends on how we see ourselves. And this is something that took me 4 years to learn. As I began continuing through my journey at Hill, I most definitely still struggled. The academic office and counseling center became one of my most constant spots. I felt embarrassed and ashamed that I could not perform the way I felt I should be. In my fifth form year, I could not grasp onto French for the life of me. This was the year when everything mattered most, and I could not risk having a language bring my grade down. I began to fall into the trap of doubting myself and getting hard on myself. During the spring of last year, I completely fell apart. I could not sit through a class without wanting to sob, and I had only a few weeks to get my stuff together before final grades were in. I remember walking into Mrs. Tisler's office, our old learning coordinator, sobbing about how I seemed to lack understanding of a few of my classes. I share this with you to let you know it's okay not to understand things all the time. It's okay to express feelings of concern. French is not easy, and French will never be easy for MoniYah, but that's okay because I found my strength in other things, and that is something I want each of you to do. Do not allow yourself to get caught up in one bad thing. The bad should never outweigh the good that you have in you. Personally, I love to write, and this led me to attend a journalism conference this summer. I love to talk business and entrepreneurship, which led to going to DECA Nationals in Atlanta and creating many original, some failed, businesses. And my favorite of all is to code and talk about technology. Knowing to code is something I pride myself in because it is a bit of a difficult thing to do. If you know anything about me, you know this is one of my serious passions that I plan to pursue in my future. I knew right from the bat athletics was never truly for me, but I was grateful that I got to try a bit of all of it. From being a field hockey star to tennis for 30 days to football manager, come to our game versus Chestnut Hill at 7 p.m. tonight, to JV girls basketball bench warmer, to being cut from lacrosse, JV lacrosse, to theater tech, to becoming a varsity softball player, never played softball before. I'd like to say I had a taste of it all. High school, especially one like Hill, is meant for you to learn about yourself. You are going to get stressed. You're going to fail at times. You will stumble, and you will get right back up and show the world what you have got. It is also important to have a support system that will be there for you and assist you when you need it. God truly blessed me with some of the greatest friends I could ever ask for. They were always there for me and made sure that I never doubted myself. I was even luckier to have the most caring and supportive parents ever. I would come to my mom crying about how terrible I would do in a test, and instead of scolding me, she would support me. She understood Hill was not easy and would admit that she herself would not be able to keep up like the rest of us do. She would applaud me for being involved while still working hard. I respected the transparency she shared with me. As long as I tried, she was proud of me regardless of what a test said. My father is not much different. Even if I felt he didn't always show it, he does. He'd brag to his friends about how smart I was to even be attending this school. I thank God every day that I was given amazing parents who influenced me to work even harder. Not everyone is blessed with parents like this, and that is why it is important to surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with people who you make feel good and make you feel good as well. Hill is amazing with gifting us with such supportive adults such as your advisors, coaches, dorm parents, and teachers, and many other leading faculty amongst us. Constantly uplift your friends. Be there when they are struggling in class. Suggest ways that you can help and assist them. I'm blessed to have created incredible bonds at this school, and if it were not for many of my friends, I don't know how to get through it all. Especially if you're new, you're probably still finding those people, and that's okay. It takes time, but it will come. The school gives so many amazing resources to help all of us succeed and connect. As much as I just wanted to give it all up and quit, I knew I couldn't. I had to push through the pain just like everyone else. I also could not bring myself to simply give up. You know how some gym coaches will tell their clients, keep working through the pain? That is exactly what we must do at times to get through the tough patches within our high school careers and even in life. Every time a negative thought popped into my head, I would remind myself of the incredible qualities I did have. I suggest you do this as well. Say I didn't get the greatest score in a math quiz, I would remind myself of how I did good on one of my other exams. Now, this method does not always work, but I think it is important not to dwell on every bad test or exam. Just strive to do better next time and always seek help. If you learn anything from this talk, I want you to applaud the small achievements. Do give yourself some grace. Think about the bigger picture. You have been blessed to attend an incredible institution such as this, where the opportunities are almost endless. Don't take it for granted because not everyone is graced with these chances. I'm not going to promise you that your next few years or year is going to be easy. It's not. It will be hard, but you will be extremely grateful when your feet hit the cool water of the Delph. If you ever need someone to reach out to regarding absolutely anything, know that you have me. You have plenty of people who want to help you and support you. I hope these past few weeks have been exciting and that you are finding your place well here at the Hill. Good luck.